Good, happy day to you, friends. We are going to take a look at the United States of America's Bazi Astrology midway through this year for a serious needed check-in to see what is going on for the United States in relation to this election. So welcome, my name is Lydia, and this is the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. I also have a fun announcement. I am now taking memberships. I'm so excited about this because with memberships, we get to form our community of people who are interested in Bazi Chinese Astrology, also known as Four Pillars, and also Feng Shui and Flying Stars Feng Shui. So I am so excited for this. So check out the memberships. I've got 3 tiers to choose from, and I have to say the top tier gets a really sweet gift every year of a New Year update on me. I know it's a happy thing. So check that out. And before I get into this update, watch the video I did, and I'll put the link for it. The video I did at the beginning of 2024. I always find it fun. I don't know about you. I'm a big journaler, and I like to go back and reread about this time of year what was going on for me at the beginning of the year and read through up to now as a really great deep dive into processing all that's happened and getting a perspective on the forecast that was offered and where we're sitting with that, right? And it's like, I mean, astrology isn't it's like a weather forecast, and the wind can blow in a different direction and shift things. It's not concrete. There are a lot of changeable things, one of them being, I don't even know if I've talked about this, group karma. For instance, the collective that you work in, like if you work in an office, or if you work, or if you're in a, have a home with a family, every one of those astrologies is affecting the other depending on how tight the relationship is. So I actually just did this for a client who is hiring a partner. She had me do their Bazi Astrology to ensure she's not bringing the enemy into her business, or a hot mess, or a terrible conflict. These are smart things to think of doing. I do partner astrology readings, and that can be for any couple. It can be also a relationship, like a family relationship. I want to understand why my sister and I don't get along anymore. We used to be best friends. I miss her. Things like that. So I'll put links for readings for you as well. All right. The United States, we know it was born July 4th, 1776. It's 1713 on the clock. So I am going to hold this hot mess because it is a little bit of not a very old country. We're very new on the world stage, but here's the chart. All right, lots of notes, I've got sticky notes and the luck cycles and how they've gone all this time. So anyway, take a hot look at that and recognizing that this is our blueprint. And like when I've done the readings for other countries, it's a very interesting blueprint. That time of signing this country into being is vital. You know, when you look at a country like Israel, when you look at a country like Russia, where you see, oh my gracious, like I would never have chosen that day and time to bring a country into being. Too much conflict, too much peril. Will you ever have peace in these countries? I don't know. So, the thing about the United States, where it is, because there we have our onion, that's astrology. We've got the birth chart that just showed you. That's the biggest piece, obviously. Then we're going to take it down to the next level. Where are you in your luck cycles? Because we each go through 10-year luck cycles. And since 2017, the United States has been in a period of Yin Earth Sheep. And I have mentioned this about Biden. I don't even know where is Biden these days. I think he's gotten to the bottom of my pile, which is a little bit sad. Anyway, yeah, Joe Biden is also born on the day of an ox, just like the United States. And just like the United States, Joe Biden is in a Yin Earth Sheep luck cycle that started for him in 2018. And I mention this because I think there is something to this. I think there is something to what we attract. Okay? So, as a nation, for whatever reason, we attracted a president that is mirroring our time of our life. This is just coming to me. Think about it. This is crazy. This is coming through here. I have been saying for a while that the United States is going through a re-identification of the self. In yoga, this is the biggest question we can ever ask ourselves. And God help us. I certainly hope that you often ask yourself this question. Who am I? Who am I? Aside from being the United States, besides being you and me, what are we? Right? And we have seen our own president this year go through a bit of an identity crisis. You think that you are this, and then reality reminds you maybe you aren't anymore. Maybe it is time to accept who you are becoming. And that, my friends, isn't always comfortable. As Americans, are we comfortable? Are we comfortable with the direction our country is going in, the narrative that we see playing out and being told to us? So this is a Yin Earth Sheep period. And we are going into the last threads of this. These are the things that can't come to me. And I often like to look at astrology through the lens of questioning, because I think the questions lead to interesting answers. And I welcome your dialogue, your comments, keeping them kind and positive and interesting about this astrology. Who are we as a nation? How are we in community? What is our collective mindset? Tucked into this is how are we inspired? What's our moral code? What's our faith? How do we educate? Both in the classroom and in our day-to-day life. And one of the things that I said in that video at the beginning of the year about this year is this country is going through a shake-up and a wake-up. And there is this kind of feeling of threat to our sovereignty, to our democracy. Now, just like with Joe Biden, since all these years ago, the conflict of the sheep and the ox are banging up against our very sovereignty. And in this conflict of the identity of the United States, aspects of our nation are breaking open and aspects are breaking apart. And if you ask me, I think this election is the last showdown, because I think 2026 going into our luck cycle, or 2025 going into 2026, there is going to be kind of a exhale into our new luck cycle. And the next luck cycle is going to be nothing short of a revolution. A very changed United States. Ooh, interesting, right? My gracious. Anyway, I really do like to see things not so much from, ooh, how terrifying, but more from the scope of, ooh, interesting, curious I am about what could our future be as a nation, because right now it's a little bit messy. So now that we've drilled down and understood, this has been our influence for the last many years, since 2017. Now let's take it down to the next level, 2024. A Yangwood dragon that is very much highlighting our careers, our overarching responsibilities as Americans and individual citizens. It's highlighting the home and the family. The dragon, again, it's another earth animal. And this is bringing up again, who are we? It is really, because if you think of us as one entity, a nation, and it's polarized, completely divided, where's the bridge upon which we can find community, unity, inclusivity, safety? After all, home is safe. Our work gives us stability. Where do we find that in a country that feels broken into? And tucked into the dragon is this challenge, this underground challenge. And the patriarchy, also health, funding, and it's a void here that lacks a certain amount of traction, kind of like things are moving along, but in a like putter kind of way, almost like your tractor is starting to run out of gas. It's a year, my friends, with the dragon of the disruptor. Let's now look at the next layer. So this is what would happen if, for instance, you wanted me to look at, hey, is this the best day for me to schedule my wedding or schedule signing the deed on my new home? The next piece is the election, which I never in a billion years would pick this date. And I don't know why they haven't changed the date for the election. Why it's at the very beginning of November does not make any sense. It is on the last day of the month of October, according to the Chinese calendar. It is a Yang wood dog month, and the dog is the enemy of the dragon. So yeah, bring on anything and everything that can possibly go wrong. And as Earth is our element, it does bolster us. But the challenge here of this conflict harms our backing and our ability to feel a sense of control, which can mean we feel out of control. There's loss of money here, which makes me think that the stock market isn't going to be liking this election either. So there's some interesting things going on. But to suffice it to say, let me go through all this for you. Because now that we have all the layers and we understand the year, the month, is, let's take a look at this month. The month, is another earth animal. And so this is a big piece because of, if you ask me what this really feels like, the day is the rooster, a yin water rooster. And so as a country that is its own element is yin earth, this day feels very heavy with wood. It feels heavy with earth. And there is this power play happening. It also feels like a real action-oriented day. It feels like a day of the patriarchy. And I think I had said at some point in all the videos I've done about the election, I wonder if we can get a female president with that signature sitting there. That is a question. Like, I was seeing this as a man winning the election with that sitting there, the yin water sitting there. This is going to be a really, really interesting election. Oh my gracious. So we're going to break apart the fact that what we're seeing here is action that is about the American people being heard, taking action to be heard, okay? And that is all over the day of the election. With it, there is, again, the year influence that feels like disruption. There's a lot of feeling like the call to do your civic duty, to be responsible. And again, I feel like there is a big emphasis on re-identifying who we are as a nation, and that being really the underlying message that I think is motivating people to vote. We all individually think we know what we want this country to be about, and we want to vote to support that initiative. So now that we have all the pieces, we're going to look at the interaction. So the nation is born in the month of the horse. The horse, along with the sheep, of this current lux cycle is creating a semi-fire trio of support. In addition, the horse with this month of the dog in the election is also creating more fire. There is also, with the monkey of the year the nation is born, along with the hour, we have the hour of the rooster. This is the day of the rooster of the election day, and that dog of the month of election day, creating a full metal seasonal trio. This, my friends, is action on steroids. This looks like a very strong turnout for this election. And there's also a semi-traditional metal trio with the rooster and the ox, which is our day of the United States chart. And then we have all the conflict. We have the lux cycle of the sheep banging up against the ox of the day of the United States. And then there is the dragon and the dog battling each other in our collective. There is also, for the United States, the ox, the sheep, and that dog forming a full penalty, suggesting intense levels of stress leading up to this. And then, interestingly enough, the rooster day, along with our hour of the rooster, shows a self-punishment, fixed mindset, old ways of thinking. I think there's going to be a really strong turnout, but I think that there is going to be something disruptive about the election itself. And I'm just going to leave it at that. One thing in all of my happy notes here, because I am working on, speaking of date selection, the disastrous second debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, September 10th at 9 o'clock. Horrible, horrible, and more horrible. Why they choose these days and times is beyond me, but it is like they're trying to sabotage themselves, honest to God. Now, that video will be coming out. I'm also doing a lot of research on breaking down each of the candidates, and not just election day, but what is going on between now and election day, looking at each month for them and where there could be some shakeups and turnarounds. So the other thing I wanted to mention as I'm wrapping this video up about the United States and where we are right now, and especially with this election, the election day itself, there are two critical time points we need to be very careful of. 7 to 9 in the morning when the polls first open. 7 to 9 in the evening, which is usually when the polls are closing. Why do I say that? One is the hours of the dragon and the other is the hours of the dog. The other that I would be cautious about is 1 to 3 in the afternoon, which is the hours of the sheep. Because of the penalty of intense stress and problems arising in relation to the month of the dog. Not as severe of a concern to me as the 7 to 9 in the morning and 7 to 9 at night. Yeah. So that is where I'm at this now time with the United States going into the election. Some more to come. So stay tuned, friends. And until next time, please be well.